Today I want to talk about inner union and how inner union leads to outer union, which we typically call in the spiritual community sacred union. When we're married and that union is then sacred. It's not just a marriage, it's something different, something more divine and something more holy. But how do we get there? Because what first must occur is an inner union. To work on the outer union first is to go about it backwards. We first have to work on our inner union. This is where our feminine and our masculine, they both come online, and then there is an inner marriage that is happening within us. So, why is it called feminine and masculine? So we have within us all of these qualities, and these qualities can be outward moving or inward moving. And when they're inward, that's feminine. When they are outward, more penetrative, then I think that's the right word, penetrative, then they're masculine. So these qualities through childhood and on, they get fragmented. They get shamed. We deny them. We disown them. We fear them. They turn into shadow qualities within us. And so in order to have this union, we need to bring them back online within us. So how does that happen? We must go into the depths, right? To reclaim these parts of ourselves. So these are our lower, denser parts. They live in the lower chakras. These are our fears, our shadows, our illusions. The qualities of us that we may fear, therefore we disown them. Qualities such as maybe what are some qualities people don't want to be? Like selfish. You don't want to be called selfish, right? So we kind of push down our selfishness, and we then push it away, and we're like, no, I'm not selfish. To dig that up, we then need to bring selfishness back online. But before we can do that, we must neutralize that quality. And we neutralize that quality through love. Love is the thing that neutralizes a quality. And therefore, we can then see the higher aspects. Like, wait a minute, selfishness isn't a bad quality to have. Selfishness means I care about and I love myself just as much as I care and love somebody else. So that is not bad or wrong for me to want something for myself that somebody else also has. See, selfishness can be good so that we don't forsake ourselves. And this is with every other quality that we have. And the more that we do this, the more we become whole, because we're not fragmented anymore. Therefore, we're in union. Now, we also have upper qualities too. They're more light qualities. They live in the upper chakras. And those are good qualities, but we also deny them and disown them as well, because maybe in the past they have become something that has caused us pain. Okay, for example, let's take the quality of patience, because that's a pretty good quality to have. However, let's say somebody is super impatient. Well, the reason that they're impatient, because of this good quality, right? This is a good quality to have. But if somebody is denying this and disowning this, then they're not going to be a patient person. But why not? They've denied it and they've disowned it as a part of them because they have maybe in their life got overran, right? They have maybe in their life they got ignored, right? So they couldn't be patient any longer. So they started to deny that quality, because if somebody, their whole childhood they are patient but they were ignored, then when they get into adulthood, they're like, well, I'm not going to be patient. That got me nowhere. So they would have to bring that quality back online as well. So there's lower qualities that are bad, right? And I'm air quoting here because no quality is bad. And there's good qualities too that we disown, that we think are bad, we feel are bad, but they're really not. So we have to bring those back online too. Now, the point of bringing these qualities back online is because we then realize that we are whole. We have everything within us. Because, see, we are the divine. We are the divine. We have every single quality and attribute within us. All of the good and all of the bad, it lives within us. And Carl Jung talks about this, how we are all good, we are all bad. We have these shadow qualities. And that is really what is happening when we have an inner union, an inner marriage. When we marry the masculine and the feminine, we are taking the qualities and we are taking the bad part of these qualities and the good part of these qualities, and we are integrating them into ourselves so that we can then choose when these qualities will be useful in our lives and where they need to be applied. Then we can live from authenticity. I don't have to be scared of any part of me coming online. If I get angry, I don't have to be scared about that. I can live that out knowing that I'm not doing anything bad or wrong. And it's the same way that I can show somebody patience, right? And so that must happen first. This inner union must happen first within ourselves. Then we can move into having a sacred union with our partner. Now, how does that happen? So when two people are doing this work together, this work of creating inner union within themselves and loving the parts of themselves back online, the good qualities and the bad qualities back online, and two people are doing this in relationship, then and only then can there be a sacred union. Now, why is it called sacred? Because at that point, there is nothing but unconditional love for the person. That person can then be, both of them can then be 100% authentically themselves at all times. And the other person is not trying to change their behavior. They're not trying to manipulate or control their behavior because they themselves have integrated all of these aspects that are being displayed into them. So they don't see, somebody's anger as bad and wrong. They don't see somebody's impatience as bad and wrong. They're able to unconditionally love that person with where they are at, and then you can create from that place because nothing is being denied, nothing's being disowned in the relationship. However, in the spiritual community, you will hear that in order for there to be a sacred union, the man must be fully in his masculine and the woman must be fully in her feminine. And I say no. It is a yes and thing. Because yes, typically women will have more feminine energy. And typically men will have more masculine energy. And it is designed this way so that whenever, I say typically, because it's not always this way. I just want to make that caveat because some men do have more feminine energy and some women do have more masculine energy, and that's fine. And if there are any kind of unions where there's two men or two women, the energies will work themselves out. I'm using the example of men and women and masculine and feminine, but there is that caveat that everybody has these energies within us. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So it's not that a man has to all the time be in his masculine, and the feminine or the female all the time has to be in her feminine. What has occurred is if a man and a woman are both doing that inner work, and there's an inner union. The woman has more feminine and it overflows onto her man. The man has more masculine and it overflows onto his woman. Now, these are attributes such as, like the feminine, for example, is softness, nurturing. She provides more of that, like, gentle spirit, kind of. And the masculine is more initiative. He's more direct. He's more driven. However, we have these inside of us too. And so when those come online, it's not that we can't then use them. I can be very direct with my husband and I can initiate with my husband. But when I'm in sacred union and I have brought the wholeness of me back online, then my feminine is going to pour forth, because that is my authentic energy. That is my authentic autonomy. That is my nature. And so it's going to be easier for me to pour from the space of feminine than it will be to pour from me from the space of masculine. Because I then don't have to fight to bring that masculine up in me. It just naturally comes out. The same way that his masculine naturally comes out. And when I can neutralize within myself all the masculine qualities and all the feminine qualities, then when I see him in his feminine, I don't have any resentment towards that. I am completely fine with my husband in his feminine qualities. He can be sitting in his softness and his nurturing and his more flowing state, and I can be completely okay with that. I don't have to do anything with that. I don't have to bring out his masculine. His masculine will naturally pour out on his own whenever he has given to himself the things that he needs, right? Because the feminine is going to bring up needs. That's what she does. She's always bringing up needs. And so when he gives that to himself, he's going to be full. I don't have to do anything. But he knows that we're both doing this work. And so, yeah, to recap, to put this all together. So I've said a lot here. Sacred union occurs after inner union occurs. And inner union occurs when we have brought all the parts of ourselves back into union with us. And we do this through neutralizing them through love. That is the way that we bring all these fragmented parts of us back online. And then from there, we can move into sacred union because we are able to love unconditionally all of the aspects of our partner because we have witnessed and loved, masculine witness, feminine love, all of everything within us. And then therefore, the circle's complete. Me, my husband, the circle's complete. And that is union. Thank you for watching and have a great day.